Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am going to do a face full of new stuff. We've got some new brow products. We've got a newISH primer, a new blush, bronzer, and a new highlighter and a new makeup sponge. Now, taking it all out and putting it on my table here. And new concealer. That was what kicked off this video. I'm not going to do eyeshadow in this video. I have a couple more to film. And so I'm not going to do the shadow part. But I will do the rest of this stuff. So, first thing I'm going to use, or show you guys, is this sponge. Now, I know Makeup Geek is gone, and you can't get this anywhere, but this is the first time that I've actually opened it. I've had it for a while, and it was raspberry, and I never noticed it till, 5 minutes ago when I wet it, but it's got, let's see if you can see, edges all over it. It's so neat. Anyway, plastic thing. So I have wrung it out, so we're going to use that. And I think I used this in a video, and I wasn't quite sure what to make of it, but I have been enjoying it. I've used it a few times on its own and before makeup. But it's the Farsali Quench Moisture Replenishing Serum. And the dropper on it is unreliable. There's no better way to say it. It's a very thick serum. So I just put it in my hands and do that number. And it feels very thick and almost sticky going on. But then after 30 seconds, it dries and to a smooth, I don't feel like I have anything on my face, but my face feels hydrated. So that's my first step. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to try to do a wear test because I know how this wears. The Rimmel Lasting Finish 25 Hour. This is a new bottle, so I'm putting it in on the new. But I've used this maybe once or twice, and I can't remember what I think about it. But it's the Dominique Cosmetics, the Blur and Moisture Serum Primer. So that's what that looks like. So I'm going to apply this to 1/2 of my face. So, now, I'm going to let that kind of work its way for a little bit while I tell you about the concealer that I'm going to use. So, this is the concealer that matches this, or is in this line. There's a pretty big contrast of color there, so we will see. And I'm going to use two pumps of this. And I'm going to just kind of start there. And I'm going to start on this side. It's squishy. It didn't get much bigger, but it wasn't very hard to, it wasn't very hard to begin with. Forgive me. Oh. But it seems to be doing the job. Get your mind out of the gutter, y'all. I don't know if you can hear it. Let's see. Alrighty, for the other side. It does obviously soak up more product because it's a sponge and it's damp. Usually it only takes about 1 pump for this. Do need a little bit more. And I do like this because it's buildable. I'm just going to put it right on my sponge. This was where I need the most of the coverage. Now, this one is the full coverage. The other Rimmel that I enjoy a lot is the medium coverage. Now for the concealer. I'm in the shade 200 soft beige in this. And in this, I'm 001. I think this was the only color available to get soon. Oh, it's a sponge tip, but it has a hole in the top, so it's not going to come out all over the sponge. Let's see. You can see how that comes out. So you can actually see how I just squeezed it enough to put a little bit up there. I have no idea how much this takes. This is definitely too light for me. Definitely. And a little does go a long way. So I'm going to blend this out. Way too light. Now, I do not have a new setting powder. I thought I grabbed a setting powder. Now, we're going to go in with this Cafe Marc Jacobs. This is a 3-in-1, a powder blush, bronzer, and highlight. And this is in the shade 200 Fantastic Glow. And it looks like the standard Marc Jacobs. And this shade is actually lighter than the two shades that I do have. And I enjoy Marc Jacobs. So this is the bronzer that we're going to use for today's video. And I'm going to use that with an angled brush because it's a big pan, but they're small sections. So I'm just going to go into the bronzer section of it. And oh, that is got a very warm undertone to it. It looked cool in the pan. It looks cool in the pan, but it is coming off very warm. That's okay though. That's why we try these things. All that I'm going to use in this palette, because I have highlighter and I have the blush. The blush is one that I use, or I got in a BoxyCharm. So, and I'm going to use the brush to it too. And this is the Half Baked In Bloom blush. And this is in the shade Freshly Squeezed. So, and I swatched this on my hand, and it's very pigmented. Very. Okay. I'm just kind of going over the bronzer a little bit, because there's a definite line there, and I don't like that. So, I am going to take my powder brush and hope I can just blend these together a little bit so it's not so harsh. I mean, it's pigmented, it's pretty. That's all my thoughts on it right now. We'll see how it wears. And for highlighter, I'm going to be using this Laura Mercier. This is the Matte Radiance Baked Powder in Highlight 01. And that's what that looks like. It's very powdery. I don't know if you can see. And that's me taking and dipping, not even swirling, but literally just touching the top. So, let's put some highlighter. So, I'm going to set my face with this ABH. It's in a MAC bottle, but it's the ABH Dewy. This Iconic London, the Brow Silk Kit 1. You know what? This big package, well, that's a pretty big brush, but that's what the soap looks like. Oh, no, it's a little mirror. So, let's read these directions with no glasses in front of me. Okay, this says, use wet or dry. Our brow silk creates naturally full, feathery brows with zero mess. Applied with our bespoke brow groomer, the Universal Clear Formula boosts sparse patches, gripping every single hair. Use wet or dry. Brush brow groomer into formula and apply directly to brows to style. Okay. It's got a lot of oils in it. So, let's see what this does, shall we? Okay. I'm going to try one eye wet and one eye dry. So, my left will be the wet, and this will be the dry. And, look, it picked up a little bit. And I just ran it across. This is so weird. No, we said we were going to do this one wet. You know what? Let's wet it. I'm just going to use setting spray to wet it. And I just wet my brush to kind of come in here and let's see. Okay, I coated it pretty well. And let's see. So I'm combing my brows the way they grow, and then I'm combing them different, as you can see. And now I'm just gonna in hindsight, I probably should have done this first. Okay. First impressions, I like this, but I like it dry. I had this, when it was dry, it was easier to maneuver a little bit, whereas this one, I feel like I had to do a lot more. But, I mean, it's nice, and I will absolutely, definitely use this again. I'm actually going to put it in my drawer here. Well, I need to wash that off to use again. Alrighty. Brows are haphazardly on. They don't match. That's okay. I'm going to put on a lip liner that I enjoy. And I don't know if I've ever put it on my channel. More than likely I have. But this is the Essence Stay 8-Hour Lip Liner. This one is in the shade Tea Time, I think. Tea Time, yes it is. And that's, let me show you what there we go. And it is a retractable lip liner, which I enjoy. I despise sharpening plastic for lips. I'm going in with this ColourPop Luxe Velvet in this shade. I actually believe I have a lip liner this exact same color somewhere. All right. So, if I am able to do a wear test, I'll insert it somewhere right along in here. Hey guys, this is my check-in for the evening. I had it on over 6 hours, and this side is the side I used with the primer, and this side wasn't. And I used, for my primer, the Dominique Cosmetics. My thoughts on this, I liked it. My face felt moisturized all day. Of course, we know I love the concealer. I liked it. You can see I didn't get too many creases, but this is worn very good. I initially thought that I had it too light, but this oxidizes a little bit to really bring it out of your skin. This was such a surprise to me. I remember when YouTube went crazy over this stuff, and I thought, gimmicky. Not for me. I do like it. However, I like it with the wax being dry. Half caked in freshly squeezed. This shade, y'all, this brush came with it. This is one dip on either side, tap off, and I was able to achieve this. And this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful color. I was very pleasantly surprised with the Laura Mercier Baked Powder in Highlight 1. I was really surprised that this worked so well as a highlighter. The Marc Jacobs, and I love the packaging. It's the 200 Tantastic Glow sponge. And this is dry, so I'm assuming this is its natural side. Maybe you can see those rivets I was talking about. Oh, yeah, you can. And then it's even got a few on the bottom. But, loved this sponge. Loved it. Anyway, all right, y'all. Rambled on enough. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Bye. I'll go ahead and give my first impressions. Let's start with the primer. I won't know until, you know, whatever. But I will leave, if I don't include a wear test, I will include it in a pinned comment. The Dominique Cosmetics, the moisture, what was it? Blur and Moisture Serum Primer goes on like a lotiony serum. I mean, I don't feel like it looks any better at this point. The Rimmel, love, #1. The concealer, love the applicator. Doesn't feel like much product is in there. And first impressions, it doesn't take as much as I put on. So that's my bad, not that. This little palette right here, this, and all I can really comment on is the bronzer. I wish now that I had done one side with this palette and one side with what I'd already used, but alas, I didn't. But, so far, so good. I'll use the blush. You know, I'll leave it up here and I'll include it in an upcoming video. And the highlighter. I'm not thrilled with the look that I came up with, but that's me. But now all I see is the, you know, the Neapolitan ice cream line. You know, I tried to blend it out the best I could. It happens. The Laura Mercier Baked Highlighter, you know, I really like this. First impressions, it's not emphasizing the texture that I have. The brow soap, so far so good. I am enjoying it. I kind of, you know, filled it in a little bit. Tried to make them match. It's not always an easy feat, but we persevere through. What else did I try new? The sponge. The sponge I liked it. I like that it has these, all of these almost sides, if you will. So, you know, if you're using a bunch of cream products, you know, you can see, okay, well, I used these two sections for foundation, these two for concealer, or this one for concealer, whatever. You can use it multiple ways, and it has multiple different little angles on it. So I like this. Well, and that, guys, is just, that's it. That's it for this video of trying new stuff. Be beautiful and be kind, and I will see you in the next video.